Today, we've got the voter registration shifts for the month of August. Let's get right into it. We'll start here in Nevada. This is a state Trump won by 3.1%. Since last month, Republicans are up 250, Dems up a lot more, 1585. Other or independents or unaffiliateds are up more than 17K. This state has an active party registration of more than 2.1 million. They have back-end automatic voter registration. Between the two major parties, the Dems have a small advantage of 1837. That's lower than back in 24 where it was over 7K, and back in 16 it was over 88,000. Now we'll go in order from the narrowest margin up to the widest. We'll start here in Pennsylvania. Trump won this state by 1.7. Looks like some voter roll cleanup here. Republicans lost 81K, Dems lost 118K. Other is down 49,000. Dem advantage here is small, it's 25,800. Back in 24 it was 131, and back in 16 it was 916, so a lot higher. New Hampshire had Harris winning the state by 2.8. These changes go back to May, and Republicans lost 14K, Dems lost 18K, other is down 25. Republican advantage here, 52,900. That's a little bit higher from back in 24, where it was 47.7, and back in 16, Republicans were up 20K. In North Carolina, Trump got it by 3.2. We've got Republicans gaining 3,000, Dems up 4,800, others up 21K. GOP advantage 113K. Back in 24, it was just 23,000, and back in 16, Dems had a big advantage of 646K. In New Jersey, Republicans lost 401 and Dems lost 535. Other is going to be up 9,400. Republicans are trailing here the Dems by 882,000. Back in 24, it was a little bit higher. It was 905, and back at 16, it was 862. In New Mexico, Republicans gained a little bit, 483. Dems a little bit more, 534. Other is up 6729. Dem advantage 131K. Back in 24, it was 159. And back at 16, it was about 200K. Colorado had Republicans losing 24,800. Dems about the same, 22K. And we've got other is down almost 59K. Dem advantage at 97,000. Back in 24, it was 110, and back at 16, it was just 7K. In Florida, Republicans gained a ton, 38,500. Dems also gained, but it was 24,400. Other is up 6K. Republican advantage is over 1.54 million. Back in 24, it was 1.07, and back in 16, Dems had an advantage of their own at 327K. In Alaska, not a lot of shifts here, but Republicans up 144, Dems up 97. 1401 is what the unaffiliateds gained. Republican advantage at 72K. Very similar to what it was back in 24, and back in 16, it was 65K. In the state of Iowa, the GOP gained 500, Dems more than double that. Other is up 4,400, Republican advantage 183K. Back in 24, it was 173, and back at 16, it was a lot lower at about 27K. In the blue state of Rhode Island, Republicans lost 127, Dems had a gain of 337. Other is up 1656, Dem advantage 133K. Back in 24, it was 169, and back in 16, it was 237. Oregon had Republicans losing 271, Dems gained 461, others up 6,400, and the Dem advantage is 246K. It's lower than 275 back in 24, and back at 16, it was less than half that at 118. In Delaware, it was Republicans losing 354, Dems lost 295, others up 1870. Dem advantage 131K. Back in 24, it was 145, back in 16, about the same as it is today, also 131K. Kansas had a gain for the Republicans of 1105, Dems more than double that, 2816. Other is down just 25. Overall, the Republican advantage is up there at 391K. Back in 24, it was also 391, almost identical, and back in 16, a little lower at 357. Nebraska was a GOP loss of 438. Dems lost 172, other up 400. GOP advantage 292K. Back in 24, it was 286. Back in 16, it was 214. In Utah, here's a good one for the Dems. Republicans lost 3487. Dems are up 492. Other is up even more at 6,832. GOP advantage is still pretty stark at 664K, but it is a little lower than 689 back in 24, and back in 16 it was 416K. Louisiana was a gain for the Republicans at 1521. Dems almost lost the exact same amount. Other is up 1611. Republicans for the second month in a row now lead the Dems here at just 5445. Back in 16, Dems had an advantage of their own at 86K, and back in 16, it was 451, so a lot higher. That goes to show you that voter registration sometimes is a lagging indicator of how people are actually going to vote. In Maryland, Republicans lost 23-17. Dems up a little bit at 173. Other is down 44-62. Dem advantage is way up there at 1.2 million, just slightly lower than it was in 24. And back in 16, it was 1.14 million. South Dakota was a GOP gain of almost 3,200. Dems down 1,300. And other is down 522. Republican advantage 195K. Back in 24, it was 170. Back in 16, it was 81K. Kentucky was another gain for the Republicans of over 2,400. Dems lost 32. Other is up 2320, and we've got Republican advantage here at 251,900. Back in 24, it was 150. Back in 16, it used to be a bluer state in terms of registration because the Dems had an advantage of 355K. Oklahoma was a Republican gain of 716. Dems also up, but a little less at 644. Other is up 1828. Republican advantage 678K. Back in 24, it was 606. Back in 16, way lower at 127. In Idaho, the GOP lost 601. Dems had a gain here of 155. Others up 353. GOP advantage 525K. Back in 24, it was lower at 496. Back in 16, a lot lower at 306. West Virginia got redder by 1186. Dems lost 134. Others up almost 1100. Republican advantage 197K. Back in 24, it was 144. Back in 16, a state where the Dems had another advantage of 172K. Finally, in Wyoming, Republicans gained 310. Dems up just 6. Also, other up 6. Republican advantage 182K. Back in 24, it was 193, so it was higher. Back in 16, it was 134K. So that is a quick overview of the changes into August. Again, a couple of states where Dems consistently seem to do better. But again, a lot of states clean up their voter rolls at different intervals. They have different requirements. Plenty of unaffiliateds out there. Who knows how people are going to vote and who's going to turn out. So take it somewhat with a grain of salt, but take a look at the trends over time. Let me know in the comments what stands out to you this month in this data. Let me know what you think down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.